Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Beethoven recordings, single works, not cycles. Because in our last video, Beethoven video in this series, we talked about cycles, string quartets, violin sonatas, symphonies, all that stuff. And you had your opportunity. So now we're going to talk about single recordings of individual works or albums, which contain a little clump of works. If you want to do it that way, that's okay too. But they've got to be single albums. And you know how much stuff there is. It's like absolutely insane. My list actually includes, I think, some of the most original and dynamic and fascinating Singleton Beethoven performances. And I hope yours will too. And do not please do a list that has 5 recordings of like the Fifth Symphony. I mean, that's just silly. Frankly, it really is. So, I've seen this happen already, with some of the other things in this series, 5 recordings of Turandot, or, you guys could ceaselessly come up with ways to either try and be cute or avoid taking on the challenge head on. But I know you can do it because most of you do, and you do it with such thoughtfulness and such perspicacity. It's a thrill, and I think these lists are really, really going to be helpful to future listeners and newcomers who are looking to see if there is a consensus about what the great recordings really are. And there is, actually. There quite often is. And some of those are in here. So you'll see when we talk about them, when we get to them. First, so, Piano Concerto number 4. In my list of cycles, I didn't do piano concertos. A bunch of you guys did, which is perfectly wonderful. But Piano Concerto number 4, Ivan Moravec's Martin Turnovsky on VAI. If you can find it, it's also on Superfund now. Moravec was a master at this particular concerto. He had the most gorgeous piano tone in the business, but he could be exciting, as he is in the finale of this performance, which has an eruptive spontaneity, which is really kind of amazing, after one of the most poetic slow movements you've ever heard in your life. And he's very well recorded. It's just an amazing performance all the way around, a one-off thing. Now, he did it twice. He recorded the work twice. He made a later recording with Jerzy Białowieck, which just doesn't have the same magic or the same energy. So, it's very beautiful, because everything he did was very beautiful. And he had the highest critical standards. He didn't do anything that fell below a certain, pretty amazing level of technical perfection. But this performance of the fourth is just an incredible appeal to both the mind and the spirit of the work, the body of the work. The physicality is there as well. So there you go. Next, Fidelio. Well, we all know what that's going to be. It's Klemperer, of course, on Warner. That's got to be the one. Now, some people prefer there's a one on Testament that's a live thing that's also amazing with slightly different singers. But Klemperer's Fidelio has been the standard since the day it was recorded. And who am I to argue with that? I simply won't do it. The singing is amazing. The conducting is fabulous. It's just got everything going for it. And, you're just not going to beat it. Absolutely not. This is one of those recordings, like I said, that's just, you can't make a list of the 5 greatest Beethoven recordings and leave out this one, at least as far as single works go. Next, well, here's an interesting selection, a little off the beaten path, but it's amazing. The string quartets in string orchestra arrangements, string quartets numbers 14 and 16. Opus 131 and 135 with Bernstein of the Vienna Philharmonic. First of all, you've got the Vienna Philharmonic strings. Second of all, Bernstein felt this was his greatest recording. And, that's saying something. He was not, somebody to bullshit us, let's put it that way. When it came to something like this is music that meant the world to him. And the performances are glorious, absolutely glorious. Now, some people object, of course, to the fact that these most intimate and transcendental, if you want to call it that, of chamber works are being played by a full string section. But when they're done this well, and with this much care, and with such obvious interpretive intelligence. I mean, what can you say? It was a disc that was somewhat buried in the Bernstein discography because people didn't quite know what to make of it. But it is an incredible marriage of music and performers all the way around. And as such, I think it's unquestionably one of the 5 greatest Beethoven recordings ever, if you're doing single works. Next, the Ninth Symphony. Yes, we have to talk about this. Günter Wand on RCA. Now, some people might say, oh, you always promote Frickschei, which I do. It's kind of a personal favorite, I have to say. But, this one is just perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's the best recorded, the best played. Everything just goes right. It's one of those miracle performances. You may prefer other interpretations, but for sheer quality, this is unbeatable. And it says something because Günter Wand, who, re-recorded everything 100 times. Remember, at his old age, RCA chased after him with microphones every time he did Bruckner, and we got 10 Bruckner ninths and God knows what. And he did them at NDR, and he did them with Berlin. Oh, this is with NDR. And when asked why he didn't do a remake, he said, I can't. It couldn't possibly be better than that one. And he was right, and he was smart enough to say so. So good for him. Definitely that one belongs there. And last but not least, the Diabelli variations. Oh, I love the Diabelli variations. Look, it's the greatest set of keyboard variations after Bach's Goldberg variations. A lot of people don't know them very well. It's a work that has such sort of formidable intellectual credentials, and it hasn't been used in slasher movies. So it's tended to be a little bit ignored. It's very long. It's almost an hour. It's very, it's huge, and so diverse, so varied, and the pianists who encompass its numerous demands tend to be rather few and far between, notwithstanding which there are probably half a dozen stupendous recordings. And I have chosen Andreas Staier on Harmonia Mundi on a Graf forte piano, partly because it has percussion effects. Yes, they included them in forte pianos. I played a forte piano that had percussion stops. It had little cymbals that went crash, crash, crash. And, oh, it was so cute and adorable. And Staier uses them here. But that's not just the reason, of course. Staier is a keyboard artist who seems to have flown somewhat under the radar. Everybody loves him. Everybody respects him. Everybody knows he's a genius. But he hasn't had a systematic association with a single label in a single area of the repertoire. He's kind of been all over the place in early music. He's done Amazing Scarlatti. He's done this. He's done that. But he is a fabulous, fabulous artist with a really questing, intellect. And he marries incredible musicianship with amazing intelligence and musicality. And he just produces incredible recordings, one after the other, that, come and go. So I think his Diabelli Variations really needs to get the credit that it deserves for being an astounding realization of Beethoven's most astounding single keyboard work. And there you have it. The 5 greatest Beethoven recordings, single works. I can't wait to see your list as well. I know it's going to be just amazing. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.